Everyone wants more money, but most of us weren't taught how to create an abundant life. That's where the More Money Show comes in. If you're ready to have more money, create more freedom, and experience more fun, turn the volume up. It's time to learn how to create the prosperity and life you have been dreaming of. Here's your host, Cassie Parks.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the More Money Show. I am your host, Cassie Parks, and today I'm excited that I have Mia Klein with me. Welcome, Mia. How are you?
I'm doing great, Cassie. How you doing?
Fabulous, fabulous. So excited. This is your first interview in the Year of Growth series. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Awesome. Well, I always start with this. Tell me something awesome.
I had a great run this morning, really felt good, and future self is helping me understand that it's all a process, it's all a journey. It's not individual things, it's how everything goes together.
Oh, yes. That's so important. Yeah, I want to touch on that throughout the interview because that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about you. Introduce yourself. Tell us what makes you awesome, favorite things, all that good stuff.
So I am a Napa Valley winemaker. Been a winemaker for more than 35 years here. And right now I have my own brand. It's called Celine Wines. And I also consult for 3 other small wineries that don't really, well, 2 of them aren't big enough to have full-time winemakers. And one is a real consulting gig where I consult with their full-time winemaker. So it's a really fun life, but I am in a little bit of a transition from that right now. I actually live in Sonoma, great place to live. And yeah, life is really good. You know, I there's no big troubles, but I know things can always get better. So that's why I'm here.
Awesome. I love it. Well, how did you come across me? How did we get connected originally?
You know, I think podcast, I think it first started with the Manifest It Now with you and Ginny. And I'm not even sure, I can't remember how I started listening to that. It may have come from one of your colleagues who does something for Primal Blueprint. I've forgotten her name.
Elle Russ.
But she had you on. Yeah, Elle, that's
Yes.
right. I may have heard you there the first time and then found your podcast after that and just kept listening, and so much made sense. And I think it probably took me, I don't know, maybe something more than a year and something less than a year and a half before I jumped into the Enchanted Circle.
Wow, that's amazing. I love hearing that.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's a it's a process, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What over the year was it like? Just because I'm super curious about this, is it like getting to know somebody? Is it the like learning to trust somebody? Is it just the timing being right?
I think it's a combination of the timing being right and knowing that some basic beliefs that work and don't work for me at the same time. The push and pull need to be modified and or changed and or let go of. Lots of different things that I know to take the next step need to change. You know, and I heard you say a few times on both the podcasts that talking about the next 5 years. Where do I want to be when I'm 30? Where do I want to be when I'm 35? When do I want to be? And those have been times in my life where I've done that, where I've made the biggest progress myself. You know, and I'm coming on a big one here pretty soon. I'm in between that 55, 60 area, and there's some big things that happen. So it was time. It was definitely time.
Awesome. I love it that you're here. And at the time of this interview, Mia's been in the Enchanted Circle for 87 days. I always like to let everybody know that. I think you spoke to a little bit, but why did you make the original decision to join the Enchanted Circle?
Well, I needed an extra push and a different way of looking at things. And while I got a lot of that from listening to the podcast and reading some of your books, I knew I needed more accountability than that. Because even though I go after the things that I want. I know it helps to be accountable to outside people.
Yeah. Would you say that's
So,
the biggest difference between reading a book and being in the Enchanted Circle? Or what would you say is the biggest difference between reading the book, understanding it, and then being in the program?
yeah, it's two things. It's accountability, but it's not just accountability to you. It's also accountability to the other people in the Enchanted Circle. And I get a heck of a lot from you, but it's amazing how many times when I might say one thing on the calls, but I get 1,000,001 things from all of the other participants. It's just like, oh, yeah. Well, I did that just this morning. Oh my God. So it's really, it kind of magnifies it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's nice to work one-on-one with a coach, but I never thought group coaching, I thought it would be not as good as individual coaching. I think it's actually even better in many ways.
Yeah.
So that was a very nice surprise. And every week I'm surprised. So
I love that. And I agree, because there's, like you said, there's something you might have done in the morning that you didn't realize you had done until somebody else asked a question. And then you're like, oh, okay, I see it like this. And I think that's the way, I know that's the way our brain takes in more and can move faster, because we can be aware of all these other things that we might not have been aware of. Or, if somebody has a question 2 weeks before that maybe doesn't apply to you, but then you come up against that situation 2 weeks later, you know the answer. You don't have to wait for a call or get coaching. You're like, oh, I remember how to handle this.
yeah, that's definitely true. Boy, and sometimes it's not just not being aware, it's blocking it off. It's basically, oh, I don't have to see this. This is nuts. And then somebody else is like talking about how they see it, and you go, hey, what's that? It's amazing. So
Yeah, I love that. It's so powerful. What do you think is the biggest difference in your life so far that you've experienced as a result of being in the Enchanted Circle?
ooh, I would say really exploring things that I want,
Mhm.
rather than um, running from things I'm scared of. And I don't want to. Nobody would ever say that I'm a scared person, or I'm a fearful person. But there's these deep down fears, that are just like scary ones that you never talk about, and sometimes don't even allow yourself to feel. But rather than running from those, running to something I want, rather than getting away from stuff I don't want. I guess that's the way to put it.
I love that. What would you say before you started was the money story that you had?
Both scarcity, and every now and then when there was a lot of money, it was like a hot money mess. So, uh, you know, um, uh, always, thinking that there was no such thing as being in good debt. I paid off my first house in like less than 10 years and just really hated debt. And I still don't really like debt, but I can see it in better ways now.
Mhm.
Um, and um, but when I had money, lots of it, sometimes it would slip through my hands on things that um, I didn't, I couldn't really need or use or want. There was
Mhm.
there was nothing there, and it happened both in business and in personal. If I really look, when I did the Change Your Money story, and I really looked at it, I thought it isn't just about scarcity. It's about, I think it's a comfort level with a certain amount of money.
Mhm.
So one of the things that I've been doing with the Manifest 10K program is cleaning up things that are, interfering with money. And one of them is an office that I have for my business. And I look back and I had some tax records that I don't need to keep anymore. But it's really amazing. My personal checking account has like the same amount in it then as
Oh,
it does now. There's
yeah.
more money in other places, but it's like
Uh,
I am comfortable with this many $1,000s, and if I don't have a place to put it in, some investment or the business or something, it goes somewhere else. You know,
mhm.
so I know that's not a healthy way to be. It's good, the idea of spending 10% on something for yourself for all the money that comes in. Because when you do that consistently, I don't think you need to do the great big things that say, oh my God, I deserve this. And you don't even really want it, and it ends up being
Yes.
a big bunch of money that would be better spent elsewhere. So, yeah.
I love that. And I love that you could look back and see that, because it plays out in ways we don't even realize, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So true.
Yeah. What are some of the cool things that have happened in your life in the past 3 months?
The whole thing about process and journey, I would say, is one of the big things. It's just something that keeps coming up. So every book I read, every other podcast I listen to talks about that, So, um, and for me, I look at, sort of every little thing in my life was a success or not a success, but there's a whole process that comes into it. It's part of a process. And yes, you have to be aware of winning and losing, but not every single little thing, needs to be celebrated or, being happy about. It fits into the process somehow. It's kind of like you say, I wonder what's going to come of this, when something not to your liking, not to your expectations happens. What's this bringing me now? So.
Yeah. I love that. Would you say that's your biggest lesson or aha so far?
Yes, that, and so part of that is also letting go of the control of the how part. One of the biggest things that, and I think I've mentioned this to you, maybe in just an email, even before I joined the Enchanted Circle. We had some pretty big fires close to where I live last October. And the story that you told about having the flat tire, the slow leak that you didn't pay attention to, and oh my God, you could have got down on yourself for that. But your whole thing was everything came out well in the end when you just, trusted and let go, didn't blame yourself, didn't do anything. And you had I'm grateful for being so well taken care of. And for me, I can't that was one of my things. Nobody else is going to take care of me, so I have to take care of myself. And when we had the fires, it was amazing. People in the vineyard, because we were kind of mid-picking. People at the winery, they had power outages, so they couldn't take wine, grapes in when they needed to and do all the work that they needed to. We were under advisory evacuation orders. Two people offered, and I have two big dogs, offered to let us come and stay with them in separate houses. Just really generous friends making that. We ended up not leaving, but it was just nice to have that. And my partner, who I sometimes get she always is like lots of food, lots of this. The refrigerator's always full, everything, we never run out of anything. And I can get kind of uptight about having so much stuff, but when you want to get out and you need that much food and you can't get out and you have that much food, you could survive for a week,
Yeah.
That's great. So all these people taking care of me, and I can't tell you how many times I said that to myself every day. I'm grateful I'm so well taken care of. And it felt like it just got me through the whole thing. Everybody was so helpful. We all worked together and we got through it. It was great. It was awesome. So that was like, this really is something. And, it could take me to that. It could be the thing that takes me to the next place that I need to be. So.
I love hearing that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to about the next year?
Wow, what am I looking forward to? Well, I think I mentioned I am winding down my own wine business. That should be happening by the end of this year, and I'm looking forward to the things that are after that. I enjoy working with my clients still. I still enjoy winemaking, but it'll be a little different not having my own business, not having inventory of my own, which will be. I'm looking forward to that, actually. And expanding. I've been doing some trading in options
Mhm.
and expanding that a little bit more. I'm getting more and more comfortable with that. I've been doing that for almost 2 years now.
Love that.
And becoming more clear really about where I do want to be,
Mhm.
in another 3, 5, 10 years. Those are the things I'm looking forward to.
Awesome. I'm excited about that
Yeah.
for you and excited to watch everything unfold. Um, what's the best part about working step by step through the Manifest 10K process?
Yeah. Kind of getting the push and the pull for me was really important. I think everybody gets to a space or two where they just stop working for a little bit for whatever reason. And I did
Mhm.
that and talked to you about it on one of the calls. And um, again, a process. And when you really get into the process and the journey of it, you realize how all the parts fit together.
Mhm.
And just these amazing things happen as you do the steps.
Yeah.
um, so you just connect. I mean, I can't tell you. It just seems like, and obviously, for me, sometimes when you have those little parts where you're not working,
Mhm.
it's for a reason, because the timing is perfect for that next lesson to come. It's been
Yep.
at least 2 or 3 times where the next lesson has just been like, oh my God, Cassie, I know this is here. All these lessons are here, but it seems like you just stuck this one in for me right now.
Yeah.
So it's uncanny. It's absolutely uncanny how well they seem to be timed.
Mhm.
Either right at the time or after the time, when something happens, it's perfect. It's great. And so there becomes a real pull to get on to the next lesson. But there's a reason when you have a little resistance to starting it, or it's
Mhm.
going to take 3 or 4 days to actually get through it,
Yeah.
for a reason. Yeah.
Mhm. I love that. Any final thoughts you want to share as we wrap up today's interview?
I'm really excited. I think this is it's couldn't be any better a program for me. It's really a good thing. Both you personally, the group coaching, books of yours that I read, which I look forward to getting more books, and just because it all just keeps coming together with the
Mhm.
podcast and everything, it just keeps coming together, and there's a real energy there that um, you can just kind of glide along. It's really nice.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us today and sharing with us in the future in the Year of Growth series. I appreciate it so much because I know somebody's going to hear something and they're going to be like, oh, that was for me. That's what she said for
Yeah.
me. That helped me. So thank you so much. And thank you all for listening. Make sure to check out Mia's next interview as well as the next in the series of the Year of Growth. Have a fabulous rest of your week and we'll talk soon.
Thank you for joining us on The More Money Show. To learn more about enrolling in the Enchanted Circle, go to cassieparks.com. Thank you for joining us on The More Money Show. To learn the step-by-step process to welcome more money into your life, go to manifest10k.com.